y'all can't let the old man rest on Labor Day, man? The whole purpose of Labor Day is not to work, man. Old brother can't even get some rest on Labor Day because y'all just bombard my comment section from my last video with all these comments. From my video entitled that women no longer look for the total package, the #1 reason why women changed after 1969. Now, I expect quite a bit of feedback pretty much on all of my videos I do. But there's some videos where I get, I would say, more feedback than I might have anticipated. And this most recent video would be one of those videos. I didn't expect, truthfully, to get that much feedback. I expected people to listen to it and say, oh, that's interesting. Okay. But, well, first of all, to let y'all know if y'all ain't figured it out already, unlike 2017 and I would say pretty much the entire 2018, so in 2017, 2018, I used to let almost every comment fly. I used to let almost every comment fly. Even if it was something really negative or jaded or hateful. The only thing I would delete in 2017, 2018, if somebody just said something that was really just, super duper and something like, like a white person coming in my comment section and saying, Alan, you're a nigger. You're a stupid nigger. Hey, I wasn't going to keep that shit in there. But 98% of the comments that were posted, I kept in my comment section. But if you're a content creator on YouTube, there's 3 levels of moderation. Well, I think 4 levels of moderation you can have when it comes to your comment section. There's let everything be posted. That's the most liberal level, is let everything be posted in your comment section. Next level down is let just about everything be posted except for comments that have certain trigger words, such as nigger. That's one of my trigger words, nigger. Not N-I-G-G-A, but N-I-G-G-E-R. That's a trigger word. I don't allow nigger in my comment section. I don't allow cunt, C-U-N-T, in my comment section. And there's probably 2 or 3 other words I have as trigger words. So that's the second level of moderation. You allow just about everything to be posted other than comments that have your designated trigger words. Third level posting is you approve all comments before they're posted. That's my current level of moderation. It used to be that second level. Allow just about everything except the comments that had trigger words. Now my level of moderation is your comment is not going to be seen by the general public unless I approve your comment. And then the fourth and final is just no comments at all. Like fellow dating coach Steve Dean Williams, that's what he does. If you go to Steve Dean Williams' YouTube channel, he doesn't allow any comments. He'll always just say comments disabled, comments disabled, comments disabled. That means you don't want to hear. I've done 2 videos starting with April 2017. I've done at least 2 videos where I totally disabled comments. Last time I did that was my first video where I was going on my warpath about copycats. People just copying my material, stealing my material. Yeah, I did a rant about people copying and I disabled all comments. I didn't want to hear no shit. Anyway, I've had, for this very last video, the one about women no longer pursue the total package, I probably had to delete about 30 to 35% of the comments. I've had to delete them. And see, I don't want to go, I really don't want to go back on my angry rant against what I like to call my version, since everybody has their own version of what black pill is. I'm talking about my definition and description. I don't want to go on another rant about these whiny, complaining black pillars. But man, I just gotta say, man, see, you gotta understand this about me. If you don't, most of my longtime followers understand. See, I did a video I think in 2017, it might have been 2018, but I think it was 2017. Where I did a video where I just simply said, I can't relate to most of the men, the heterosexual men on YouTube, even a lot of the black men. And before I came to YouTube, honestly, I used to pride myself on being able to relate to just about all black men, even if they didn't have the same upbringing as me. But man, I can't relate. Well, I wouldn't, that might be too extreme to say I can't relate. I don't know if there's anybody I would say I can't relate to. But more so, I'm not accustomed to a lot of the commentary I hear from men in general on YouTube, and even more particularly, a lot of black men. Because see, here's what you got to understand. I've said this before. I would say starting with the time I was probably junior, senior in high school, all the way up until well into my 40s and 50s. I would say definitely before I became a book author and decided to become a book author and dating coach. Remember I did, when I first got on YouTube, I actually did, I kind of like, introduced myself to the YouTube public and said some things about my background, kind of offered my mini backstory, whatever. And one of the things I said about myself, I said, because of my chosen career, obviously, I'm empathetic to a lot of the challenges, disappointments, and frustrations that many single heterosexual men are facing in today's dating scene, because of course I want to help them. That's why I chose to become a dating coach. But I said prior to becoming a book author and a dating coach, I didn't care about men who were having a lot of frustrations with women. I just didn't care about them. And I was honest about that when I first got on YouTube. I said I didn't care about them. Like, let's say starting with roughly the age of 16, 17, when I was still in high school, all the way up until, I'd say roughly the mid to late 90s, like somewhere between 95 and 99. That's when I slowly start changing. Was somewhere between 1995 and 1999, because that's when I dropped my first ebook on the internet, was in May of 1999. That's when I first dropped the first ebook version of Mode 1. And I'd had some previous published pamphlet versions of Mode 1 starting with summer of 1995. So you can say between 1995 and 1999, that's when I slowly but surely start changing, and I slowly but surely did start becoming more empathetic to the problems and frustrations that a lot of men were experiencing. So what, in 1995, I would have been 32. Oh, that's a little earlier than I thought. I was going to say around the age of maybe 36 or 37, but it was more like really technically starting with the age of 32. But I'd say definitely from the age of 17 to 32. Man, I never hung around guys who were whiners and complainers about women. Never, ever. Other than maybe occasionally, and it was never intentionally. Like, some people think, in my generation, I've heard some people occasionally say, Alan, you probably didn't have guys in your generation that whine and complain because there was no internet and there was no social media. Bullshit. Bullshit. Shit, anybody in my generation knows who's in, say, 45 years of age or older, just ask them. They'll tell you. There's always been guys who whine and complain about women. Like, when I was young, the three areas I would hear guys whine about and complain about women, here were the three major areas if you was young, and particularly if you was young and black. I can't speak for, I didn't grow up in an all-white neighborhood, so I don't know how things were there. I grew up in Gary, Indiana, and which was at one point had the second highest percentage of black people of any city in the country, next to Detroit. Here were the three main areas that you heard guys do some degree of whining and complaining about women. Was older guys, like guys that were 40 years of age or older. They would just, did y'all see the movie, I think, She's Gotta Have It? Not She's Gotta Have It. What's the Spike Lee movie? Do the Right Thing. Remember they had a dude played by a comedian who I actually knew personally before he died, Robin Harris. And I think his character in the movie was Sweet Dick Willie. And he was holding court, like playing cards on the corner. And he was with a bunch of older brothers and they was just talking about shit to do with life. You would have brothers like that in Gary. Or even if I went to Chicago, you would have brothers just on corners, like they might be playing cards or something, and you would hear them talking about bitches. You would hear them say, oh man, my wife, I want to beat her ass sometimes. Sometimes I just want to come to the house and just beat her ass. I'm willing to go to prison because I just want to beat her ass. She get on my goddamn nerves so much. Bitch, goddamn. I must have been crazy when I put a ring on that bitch's finger. I want to just go in the house and just physically just beat the shit out of her because she get on my goddamn nerves. Niggas will say shit like that, man. And so that was one area. That would mainly be older guys, like again, roughly 40 years of age or older. They'd be drinking liquor, playing cards, and talking shit about their wives, ex-wives, current girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, even in some cases, their own daughters or stepdaughters. They be like, man, my daughter, ever since she turned a teenager, I want to slap the shit out of her. She become a spoiled bitch. And now she fucking. I know she fucking these high school dudes. I know she fucking. I want to kick out the house because she just going to be nothing but a slut. Just like her mama was. Brothers used to crack me up, man. That's where I got my sense of humor from when I did stand-up comedy, man. Listening to older brothers, man. So that was one. Was older brothers on street corner. Second was the barbershop. Barbershop. Depending on which barbershop you went to. Yeah. Barbershop, you would hear brothers complaining about women to one degree or another. It wasn't no particular age group. It could be guys as young as like high school or as old as like their 30s or 40s. But usually older guys, they would complain about their wives or ex-wives. Or if it was younger guys, they'd be complaining about women being materialistic or women only going after the jocks / athletes or the cool guys or that type of thing. And the third would be the basketball court. That's probably out of the three where I experienced it the most. Like I remember when I was in college, I used to play pickup games in this facility called the Hyper. That was like the athletic facility at Indiana University where you could play indoor pickup games. And I remember half the time after the game was over, we would just be sitting around talking and guys would just start bitching about women, man. And see, it was interesting. It was an interesting dynamic for me. And if you're listening and you're in a fraternity, you should be able to relate to what I'm about to say. My freshman year, because typically you usually can't pledge your freshman year unless you got really good grades and that fraternity is taking a line second semester of your freshman year. Sometimes I've known a few people who pledge as the second semester of their freshman year, but you definitely cannot pledge the first semester of your freshman year. Yeah, the absolute earliest you can pledge fraternity is second semester of your freshman. But most guys who pledge fraternity usually pledge either first semester their sophomore year, second semester their sophomore year, or first or second semester their junior year. One of those four. Every blue moon you had guys who would pledge first or second semester their senior year, but that was rare. So see, when I was a freshman, let's say I had a certain crew of guys I hung out with and played basketball with. And they used to complain. A lot of them used to complain about women. They would say, hey man, it seemed like the only way you could pull fine women, like they didn't usually use the numbers that women use today, that guys use today, but let's say they did. I'll put it in number form because, nowadays everybody rates women on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of a combination of their beauty and sex appeal. So going back to my era, yeah, guys would essentially say, man, you can't pull a 7, 8, 9, or 10 unless you're in one of these three categories. Unless you're either an athlete, a college athlete, like you're on the basketball team or the football team, you in one of the fraternities, or you come from a upper middle class family that had money, and you get they give you a nice little monthly allowance, and you driving like a nice car. Like I remember there was this guy named Keith on campus, was in that third category. His name, I ain't gonna say his last name. His name was Keith. His father was a doctor. He used to drive a Porsche 944, and he would pull a lot of girls simply because of the fact that he always had nice clothes, and he had a Porsche 944. And I had a fraternity brother like that named Kai. Now, everybody gonna know, if they from Indiana, they gonna know who that is. Kai was like that. Father was a well-known architect in Indianapolis, had money. He drove a Porsche 944. So he pulled women just on the fact he had a nice car. But anyway, going back to my freshman year, a lot of guys, those are three things, that's what they would always say. They would say, man, you ain't going to be able to pull no fine women unless you either an athlete, a fraternity guy, or you got a real nice car because you came from a family with money. So then my sophomore year, I pledged to fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi. My father was a Kappa. I had a couple cousins that was Kappas. So I was considered a legacy. When your father's in a fraternity and you pledge the same fraternity, you're considered a legacy. I was a legacy. And I noticed some of these friends, they used to do a lot of whining. They changed towards me once I became a Noop. That's the nickname for Kappa Alpha Psi. You either call it Kappa or Noop, N-U-P-E. That's why you see sometimes in the comment section, you'll see people say, what's up, Noop? I know some of y'all are like, what does that mean, Noop? Yeah, that's the nickname for a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. They call him a Noop. So once I became a Noop, some of those guys treated me different, like basically like, it's almost like, I'm going to go way back. Did you see this movie from the 80s called Can't Buy Me Love? With Patrick Dempsey, where he's this like geeky, nerdy type dude in high school. And he basically hangs around all the nerdy guys, geeky guys, and just guys who are, for lack of a better term, losers with women. And then he's real good friends, platonic friends with this really good looking girl. She's considered one of like the top 3 prettiest girls in the high school. And he pays her $1,000 to pretend like they're boyfriend, girlfriend. And she ends up reluctantly accepting his proposal. And once she does, he ends up getting treated with respect by the in crowd, the cool crowd. He starts hanging out with the athletes, the popular people, the wealthy people, the people who are cool. You know, every high school has that dynamic. There's the in crowd or the cool crowd. Then there's kind of like the anonymous crowd. Then there's the nerds and geeks and other assorted types. And that's just a dynamic that happens in all high schools across the country and across the world. And so once Patrick Dempsey gets elevated to the cool crowd, of course, his former nerdy, geeky friends feel kind of ignored and dissed and whatnot. Well, what was interesting with me, it was almost just the opposite. It wasn't like when I became a Kappa, I started holding my nose up in the air and acting more arrogant and dissing my former friends. It was pretty much the opposite. They start dissing me. They start treating me with attitude like, oh, Alan, you in the cool crowd now. You a fraternity boy now. And now you ain't going to share the same complaints we have of women because now you're in that cool crowd that can pull high quality women, the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Well, the truth of the matter is, my long-term girlfriend in college, we started dating when I was still a freshman. We started dating during the second semester of my freshman year. So the same girlfriend I had after I became a Noop, I pulled her when I was still a freshman. So I didn't have the status. Nobody can say I pulled her because of my Kappa Alpha Psi status, because I pulled her when I was a freshman. She was actually a sophomore. I was a freshman, she was a sophomore. And I pulled her, yeah, during the second semester of my freshman year. Yeah, she was 1 year ahead of me. And yeah, but my point is, I was talking about whiny, complaining guys, man. Even when I was a freshman, man, I didn't like hanging around those guys, man. That was always whining and complaining about girls, man, and their inability to pull girls, a certain quality of girls. That just got on my motherfucking nerves, man. I would say starting with, really it started with as early as my senior in high school, again, all the way up into my 30s, 40s, and even 50s. I never wanted to hang around guys who was just doing a lot of whining and complaining about girls. Because my attitude was, how is that changing anything? Sometimes it is entertaining, like I talked about those old brothers who be sitting on the corner playing cards. A lot of their whining and complaining, if nothing else, it was entertaining. And I would even say that here on YouTube. There's some guys I listen to every now and then, if for no other reason, just because they're entertaining. Even though they do a lot of whining and complaining about women, they're entertaining as fuck. But beyond being entertaining, I don't see the point of it. See, I like to talk about shit that has the potential to help men change and improve their lives. Their love lives, their sex lives, their social lives, and just their overall lives in general. I don't like to talk about shit just to be talking about it, just to be venting and getting something off my chest. I do that probably every now and then, but I don't like to do that on a regular basis, to be talking about something that's just representative of me venting. Even though some people would argue, Alan, you do a lot of whining and complaining about whiners and complainers. I know somebody gonna say, they're gonna say, Alan, you know what your weakness is? You do a lot of whining and complaining about men who are whiners and complainers, which is probably true. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. This is what I find that a lot of you men want, and based on some of the comments I deleted from my last video. When it comes down to nitty-gritty, a lot of you men, you romantically and sexually frustrated men, dare I say it, you black pillars, even though 13 people say, well, Alan, my definition of black pill is different from your definition of black pill. In my opinion, a black pillar is someone who studied chemistry in high school, in college, and knows how to put this chemical with this chemical, and you literally can create a black pill. That's what a black pillar is. No, Helen, I disagree with your definition of black pill. I think a black pill is a person who was in a secret society, and he has to be agnostic or atheist, and he has to have realized how shady corporate America is, and if he has all those experiences and he presents them to the world, then he is black pill. Again, for my definition of black pill, I'm talking about romantically and sexually frustrated beta males. At minimum. At maximum, guys who are blatant misogynists, and guys even more extreme have homicidal and suicidal tendencies. They have homicidal tendencies towards both women and men. A lot of these guys, man, this is what y'all want. This is what y'all ultimately want. Y'all want a day of reckoning for women. That's what y'all want. Y'all won't say that publicly, but that's what y'all want. Well, no, I actually did hear one podcast. I ain't gonna say his name. He actually went as far as to pretty much admit that one time on a podcast. That he did. He basically did admit. There was one podcast that he did admit that he wants to see. Yeah, a lot of these guys, they want to see a day of reckoning for women. A judgment day. Judgment day. Day of reckoning. Where women are just, there's like this glorious event where women are just publicly called out for all their sins committed against the heterosexual men that they rejected, that they ignored, that they manipulated, that they took advantage of them financially, that they cheated on, that they had a baby by that guy's best friend or boss or coworker or cousin or whoever, and just otherwise abused and disrespected and underappreciated. There's guys on YouTube that want to see a reckoning day where those women have to come up to the podium and have their sins presented to them. And then they have to suffer some kind of designated consequences and repercussions. And they, figuratively speaking, get banished into, I don't know, some variation of a prison, or they're committed to 200 hours of hard labor. I don't know what the consequences are. Well, here's the thing, dude. I'm going to soothe the minds of some guys who are these egotistical revenge seekers. In my book, you know that's Mode 4. Mode 4 is the egotistical revenge seekers. And here's the somewhat good news for you egotistical revenge seekers. There's two things that in their own way get revenge for you without you individually having to get revenge on them and do 200 podcasts bitching about women. There's two elements to me that get revenge for you. One is just age/Mother Nature. Another is what's known as karmic retribution, i.e. bad karma. Age/Mother Nature and karmic retribution, otherwise known as bad karma. Those two things take care of your revenge for you. How so? Here's what I found being a man that's 56 years old. Now, a lot of you young men who are between 18 and 29, or between 30 and 39, or even some of you guys in your 40s, y'all might not see this as much as a guy who's 56 like myself. But here's what I see being a man who's 56. Is most women who were just materialistic gold diggers when they were young, definitely well over half of them end up getting their comeuppance once they get into their 40s and 50s. Most of the women who were blatant manipulators of men end up getting their comeuppance once they get into their 40s and 50s. Most of the women who ignored the nice guys in favor of the womanizing alpha males and became promiscuous sluts end up getting their comeuppance once they get into their 40s and 50s. Once the women who were just straight up bitches towards men when they were between 18 and 35, once they get into their 40s and 50s, they end up being lonely as fuck. They get their comeuppance. Some women who were beautiful and sexy and took advantage of when they were young end up getting fat as fuck when they get older. They end up, the looks fade, they get fat as fuck. Nobody wants to be with them, sexually or non-sexually. A lot of women who fucked over men when they were young get fucked over as they get older. A lot of women who had, 3 kids by 3 different men, nobody wants to marry them once they, not only when they're older, but even when they're younger, they can't find a husband. Karma has a way of coming back on people who do evil deeds against other human beings. That's why you gotta always try to do right by people. I've seen many instances. There's exceptions where it seems like this person got away with this and this person got away with that. But generally speaking, exceptions aside, most people who do wrong, who have a reputation for doing wrong by people, they get their comeuppance at some point. At some point, they get their comeuppance. I told you, that's one reason why roughly at the age of 37, 38, why I stopped having sex with women who were married, engaged to be married, or had long-term boyfriends. Because among other reasons, my brother, he was the main one who told me that. He said, dude, I don't think you should continue to fuck married women or women who are engaged to be married, got boyfriends, because you're going to start to attract bad karma into your life. You don't want to do that. And I had one incident where I don't want to rehash that couldn't have got ugly related to that. Yeah. That should be a hint for people in that story. Yeah, so that day, the day of reckoning ain't gonna come, man. It ain't gonna come. Quit waiting for it. The day ain't gonna come. There's not gonna be no official judgment day for women. No day of reckoning for women. Now, here's what some of you guys want. Some of you guys want the infrastructure of society to just break down to the point where there's no government, no police department, where men have to go back to being hunters for food. And then a lot of you guys feel like, hey, if we get to this dystopian society like in The Walking Dead, women are going to need us. They're going to need us for protection from just, the harshness of how the new society is. But see, here's where you're fooling yourself. Let's say that 1% chance we go to a dystopian society, i.e. like The Walking Dead, where there's no infrastructure anymore, no government, no police force, none of that shit, no fire department, none of that. Who you think women still gonna gravitate towards? Don't be naive. If we all went back to a state of where men had to be hunt for their own food because there'd be no grocery stores, no DoorDash, no Uber Eats. We got to go out and hunt rabbits and whatever else. Everybody gonna have their share of weapons. Who do you think women gonna gravitate towards? It ain't like women gonna be evenly distributed among men. Women gonna gravitate towards the guys who own the most weapons, who got the best fighting skills, and the best overall survival skills. That's who they're going to gravitate towards. Who got on the most weapons, the best shelter, let me add on that, best shelter for protection, best hand-to-hand combat fighting skills, and just the overall best survival of the fittest skills. Some guys gonna get left out. Believe that shit. Some guys gonna get left out. Some guys who got it going on in those 4 areas, they gonna have multiple women. They gonna have multiple women. While you gonna have other guys that don't even have one. So it ain't gonna be no different than how it is now. Which is why guys are complaining that they see some guys got, 5 different fuck buddies, 10 different fuck buddies, 15 different fuck buddies while they don't even have one. But you really think if our infrastructure got destroyed and we had to rely on our just basic natural survival skills that things are going to drastically change? No. Quit being naive. So, I'm not asking anybody, I don't want to be accused of, well, Alan, it sounds like Alan Currie wants some of us guys who whine and complain about the fuckery of women to be silenced. See, I told you, Alan Currie, I ain't trying to silence nobody. But here's what I do want, if nothing else. I don't want those people coming in my comment section, coming in my channel, doing all that bitching. If they stay on those channels where the guys are doing that type of bitching, hey, go at it, have at it, be my guest. But when you guys start coming to my channel, coming in my comment section, or sending me emails or Facebook inbox messages talking about, well, Alan, man, you need to go listen to so-and-so's most recent video where he had this video called All Women Ain't Bitches Part 15. You really need to watch that video. It's a real good video. He breaks down all the reasons why women ain't shit. And then after you finish that, I want you to go watch so-and-so's video called Why Black Women Today Are Stupid Cunts. It's actually part 17 on his channel. You need to watch that because go to the minute mark, the 10-minute mark, 32 seconds, where he really breaks down why all black women today are stupid cunts who can't think for themselves and all they want is you know, dudes with big dicks and nice cars. And then after you finish them 2 videos, you need to go to this other dude. I'm sure you're familiar with so-and-so. He got a 6-month series called Why You Should Never Get Married If You Got a Dick Between Your Legs. It's a real good series. He's been doing it for the last 6 months. It's called If You Got a Dick Between Your Legs, You Should Never, Ever, Ever Think About Getting Married. And then let me know what you think, Alan, man, because I respect you, man. I got your books, man. I respect you. And I think you should go check out them 3 videos I told you about and then give me some feedback. Matter of fact, you should talk about it, what you think about the videos on your YouTube channel, so everybody know what you think about the first video. You know, all women are bitches and all black women are stupid cunts, and if you got a dick, never get married. I want to hear you talk about that. Okay, man, Mom One for life. Later. Hey, bless your hearts, man. Bless your hearts, man. I mean, how many times can you talk about the same shit? Here's my issue, then I'm going to shut up. Now I'm going to end this video. If you individually are displeased with the modern day woman to the point where you don't want to marry him, you don't want any of them to be your next long-term girlfriend, you don't want to have kids with them, in some cases you don't even want to have casual sex with them, I'm fine with that. If you individually feel like just women are not worth pursuing for romantic or strictly sexual companionship, more power to you. If you're choosing the life of a monk, definitely more power to you. I pray for you. Good luck. Here's what I don't like, is these guys, particularly if they're older, negatively influencing the impressionable minds of young guys. Guys who ain't even got their life started yet. Guys who are 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. They listening to all this negativity, and they ain't even got their adult life started. Your adult life really don't start until you're about 21, 22. But yet you had Elliot Rodger, who was what, about 20, 21, going out shooting people. You had some of these other guys picked up a rifle at the age of 19, 20, 21, shooting people. In part because they were romantically and sexually frustrated. You had guys who ain't even had their life started yet, coming on YouTube, listening to all this negative, pessimistic, hopeless bullshit. That's what pisses me off. If you was somewhere at home bitching about it, I don't give a fuck. But you getting on a podcast espousing all this negative bullshit to guys who are young with impressionable minds, and they listen to you and say, yeah, I think he right. I think he right, man. I think all black women ain't shit. And I'm 17 and a half. I'm glad I learned at the age of 17 and a half that all black women ain't shit. Karmic retribution is going to come your way. Are you ready? No Patreon exclusive portion, but I'll do another Patreon exclusive video either tomorrow or Wednesday.